Hello everyone, this is Zach from Alchemy Total Wellness. I'm really excited to be bringing you a video today about the ultimate growth equation. This is the recipe for growth in any area of your life. This is what's going to help take you from A to B and upgrade in the direction of your choosing, whether it be mentally, emotionally, physically, even spiritually. This equation governs growth in all of those domains, and it's very simple. Stress plus recovery equals growth. Stress plus recovery equals growth. Now, the execution of that equation is not as simple. So I want to talk to you for most of this video about how to optimize your life for growth using that equation. And we'll start with stress. So stress is not the enemy. The poison is in the dose. What is stress, first of all? Well, stress is the body's response to demands from the environment. The body's response to demand from the environment. So when we look at stress, I love to think of it in this way. Robert Sapolsky wrote this book called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. And the book talks about animals having two modes. There's the red zone and the green zone. The red zone is that fight or flight mode. And most of us know what that feels like. It's stress, it's anxiety, it's when our heart is beating a little bit faster. What happens in that state of being? Well, we feel some chest tightness, we feel the rapid heart rate. The body is prioritizing blood flow to the extremities, so we might feel a bit shaky and jittery. Might have a lot of tension. Okay, our bronchial passages widen, our breathing becomes much more shallow and rapid. That is the red zone. The red zone is the sympathetic nervous system. So I always mix up the two, sympathetic and parasympathetic. The way I think about it is I have sympathy towards somebody who's stressed. So I think about it that way, and it helps me remember that the sympathetic nervous system is the red zone, okay? The green zone, if the red zone is fight or flight, the green zone is rest and digest. This is when blood flows back toward the trunk, when our breathing becomes much more deep and slow, when we're relaxed. Okay, so it's not a state of response to stress, it's a state of relaxation. That is the state of recovery. So in that book, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, there's the two zones, there's the red zone and the green zone. And he talks about how most animals in nature, will use zebras as an example, spend most of their time in the green zone. So in other words, they're relaxed. They're just chilling. Anybody who has a pet knows this. A lot of times throughout the day, your pet is just laying there, just totally chill. And then something happens, flips into barking or getting panicked, running around, whatever it may be, but most of the time it is just lying there. Well, in the case of zebras, most of the time zebras are spending their day grazing. They're just relaxed, they're being zebras, doing what zebras do, eating some grass or whatever it may be. And then a lion attacks, right? A lion comes out of nowhere. Boom, we're running. We're trying to get out of there, get to safety. We're in the red zone. So we dip into the red zone where our body's prioritizing that fight or flight mode, and we're getting out of there. And then the zebra, one of two things happens, right? The zebra either is killed by the lion or it gets to safety. A lot of times they're in herds, right? So most of the herd will get to safety. Well, what's remarkable is the zebra returns to that green zone very quickly. It goes from this state of panic, the state of stress, the red zone, back into a state of relaxation, the green zone. It goes back to grazing. Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now has a similar story. He talks about watching two ducks in a pond. And the ducks are swimming, they're getting kind of close to each other's territory, and they swim into each other and they get into a fight, a very territorial fight. So they're pecking and whatever it may be, and that lasts a very short time, and then they're going back and drifting in their separate directions. And what he notices is both ducks did the same thing. They flapped out their wings to release the excess tension, to release the excess stress, and they returned to a very relaxed state. They just went back to floating. Now let's look at both examples. Let's look at both the zebra and the duck. If those animals had a human mind, it would be a very different story. If those animals had a human mind, they'd be, the zebra, for instance, would be thinking, oh, you know what? That's the last time that lion attacks me. You know what? That happened 2 times before they came from that direction. We're going to plant 2 trees over there, so next time they come around that bend, they won't be able to see us. And Henry, you're going to look out over there, and you know what? Let's build some traps up ahead so they're going to fall into those traps, and that can at least take out 2 of them. All right, that would be a human mind. Susan, stop grazing. We got to look out for these lions. Right? In the ducks, right? That's the 5th time that duck attacked me. You know what? I hate that duck. Next time that duck, I'm going to give that duck a piece of my mind. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to bother him next time. Right? That would be our mind in the duck. But those animals don't have a human mind. See, we have these products of evolution called the prefrontal cortex, which has allowed us to dominate as a species because it allows us to project ourselves into the future. It allows us to plan ahead. It allows us to anticipate threats that aren't even happening. Whereas other animals live very much in the present moment. They're only responding to threats that are happening. So what does this have to do with stress? Well, 2 things. Number 1 is that stress is the body's response to demand from the environment, and in today's world, we often perceive stress. So a lot of our anxiety comes in these what-if questions. What if that happens? Oh, then what if this happens? Then what if I do that? And then what if that, right? It's perceived threat. We're anticipating potential threat. That keeps us in a state of stress. That keeps the body in a state of stress, even when a threat is not happening in the moment. Right? Because we have these minds that keep it alive, even when it's over. Right? Somebody might have cut us off 5 hours ago, and we might still be thinking about how dare that person. We might be replaying conversations or arguments in our head. We keep the stress alive. Secondly, in today's world, stimuli is coming at us very rapidly from all different areas. We have our phones, right? We're getting notifications, emails, text messages. It's a fast-paced world. There seems like we always have something to catch up on. We're always missing something. There's always something to do. Well, that keeps us in a state of stress as well. So we have these 2 factors. We have the mind and the perfect storm. We have the nature of our mind and the evolution of our mind and our brain in combination with this fast-paced environment where there seems to be demand all the time. And that keeps us in a state of chronic stress. Chronic stress is the problem, not stress. Stress can be a good thing when it's in targeted doses. It's chronic stress. Let's say I'm lifting weights, okay? And I'm lifting weights and I'm doing dumbbell curls, okay? And so I'm doing biceps. Now let's say all I did for 14 days straight was 2 hours of bicep curls every day. Okay? That wouldn't, my biceps wouldn't grow because there's no recovery, right? They're in a state of chronic stress. I'd probably do a lot of damage to myself, actually. Well, that's what's happening. Chronic stress is responsible, or it's linked to, I should say, 5 out of the 6 leading causes of death. They're saying that 75 to 90% of doctors of primary care appointments are related to stress-related issues or conditions. We're dealing with a major problem on our hands. That's the world of chronic stress. That is the stress that's always there. Why? Let's go back to the ultimate growth equation. Stress plus recovery equals growth. Chronic stress is stress that's constant. There's no recovery, so there's no opportunity for growth. Recovery is just as important as stress. And this is why I have such a problem with this hustling mentality we see on social media so often, that we should, it's great to get 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night and you're up and at it. And, I used to think that. I used to think there was, pride point in sleeping less and sending, work-related emails at 2 o'clock in the morning. Right? That's a load of crap. And people are starting to think that has to do, that means I'm performing well. That means I work hard. Well, it really means that you're not taking care of yourself. So if we go back to the growth equation, we need to prioritize recovery in our lives. If you look at the working out example, people who are into fitness know that there's, you might do an upper body day and a lower body day. You might work out your one muscle group on this day and then you give it a rest. You do another muscle group. You have rest days where you don't work out at all. And that helps the body recover, which ultimately helps the body grow. You leave the gym, you might have a good nourishing meal, you have some protein, or you make a shake. So you nourish it, you sleep. Sleep allows the body to recover. Well, this happens in all areas of life, not just working out. Right? This happens in stress from any area. That just provides a really good example. But we need the recovery in all areas of life. Recovery from work, the demands of work. Recovery from the demands of children, quite honestly. Right? Recovery from the demands that happen all around us, the demands of our very phones. So when I look at what a lot of people think as recovery, it's really not. Recovery, if you're sitting on the couch with your laptop open, your phone next to you, and the TV on, that is not recovery. Look at what's going on. There might be drama on the TV. There's lights flickering and flashing at you. Even if you use a blue light filter, which I hope you do if you're using screens after 7 p.m., even if you use a blue light filter like Flux or blue light blocking glasses, or night shift mode on your phone, it's still about the nature of the stimuli, that it's short, it's in bursts, it's things that are flashing, it's things that you have to do. Through your phone, it's almost all things you have to do. It's a message you need to respond to. It's something you need to check. And what is stress? Demand from response from the body's response to demand from the environment. So to wrap this up, you need to be prioritizing recovery in your life. Many of us don't need work on prioritizing stress. If you're not doing anything physically with your body, yes, of course, you need to put some stress on the body. You need to work out, exercise to be healthy and to grow and to thrive. If you're just sitting on the couch all day, every day doing nothing, yes, you need to work. Again, that stress is just as important. But the recovery is what most of us are missing. I can't tell you what that is. You have to decide what that is for you. For me, it's meditating. For me, it's reading. Maybe it's listening to something relaxing, some relaxing, soothing music, lighting some incense, having a cup of tea, spending time with people I care about, having good conversation. Those are the things, to me, that are restorative. So my challenge to you is come up with a list of things that help you recover. Not just the things you do, because again, remember, the things you're doing right now may not really help you to recover. So list 5 to 10 things that are truly relaxing for you, that help you turn out of that red zone, that help you go into the green zone where you're truly relaxed. And start to prioritize those things in your life just as much as anything else. Just as much as the stress, just as much as the things you have to do, just as much of the demands. Block it out throughout your day, prioritize it, and be strategic. So look at your day, your week, and your month and notice the points in time where you're going to have to put in some more effort, or maybe things are coming up that are more stressful, or there's parts of your day that are more stressful to you, and strategically time it so that after those periods, you have another period for recovery. So you're alternating between those cycles of stress and recovery. That is the pathway to growth. So make sure you're doing that in all areas of life when it comes to your health, your fitness, your work, your family, your mission, whatever it may be. Remember, stress plus recovery equals growth. Do not ignore either part of those. Prioritize recovery in your life. Look after yourself, and you'll be a happier, healthier, more productive person. If you need help with that, like I said, always feel free to reach out. You can see us at alchemytotalwellness.com. You can give us a call. You can download our mobile app, or schedule your free consultation anytime. Thanks a lot. Talk soon.